Ooh. Hey guys, my name is Rachel Gallagher. Hold on a second, y'all. A bee just flew in my door. I'm trying to get this up. My name is Rachel Gallagher. I'm going to share a little bit with you about my journey to Emerald. So, sorry, also I'm in my driveway. I live in the boonies, about as far as you can get, and have horrible signal. So, my driveway is basically the only place that I get great internet signal to do live videos. But I am excited to share with y'all. Amanda asked me to come on here and just share a little bit of my journey to Emerald. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, just ranked in May. So I'm pretty new Emerald still. It's what, October now? So June, July, August, September, about 5 months. I guess I've been Emerald for a little bit. But just kind of my journey, how I got here, and also my experiences since I've been in Emerald. So to start out, started Plexus. I was a super skeptic. That's kind of my story. I'm not going to go into the details of it because I could talk forever, but I watched my friend Jill Renfro. Y'all may know her. You probably do. She and I taught together. We taught across the hall from each other. So I watched her for almost a year before I finally hopped on board and said, you know what? Enough is enough. I feel like crap. Give me some of that pink stuff. Whatever it's doing for you, I need that because you feel great. I feel horrible. So I got on Plexus, and it took me only my first paycheck for me to decide I want to do this as a business. So backstory about my finances, let's just forget about the health part. My finances before Plexus, y'all, I was a broke joke. I came from a family that didn't have very much money. Before you think I'm about to have a pity party on myself, I'm not. My family was so full of love, and that really is all that matters. But we weren't people who had extra money just, you know, coming out the wazoo. We just did it, and that was okay. But when I got to college, that's when the financial struggle really hit me, because obviously I was paying my bills. My parents couldn't afford to pay for me to go through college, so I worked a few jobs. I got scholarships, so I was busy, y'all, and I just kind of learned to be very good at budgeting, and I just learned that I just didn't have extra money to spend. Fast forward to whenever I started teaching, and that was 2008. I started teaching, and the same thing. I was just robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was just behind all the time. It's like I could never get caught up on my bills. I would actually come home. I came home several times to my electricity being turned off because I couldn't afford to pay it. And of course, I would have to call my dad and say something like, oh, I guess I forgot to pay my bill, when really I just didn't have the money to, or I would just not have electricity until payday. So that was my life through whenever I was teaching. And then I met my husband, and he worked in the oil field, and basically he kind of helped me out, and we had split the bills. I'm just telling y'all like backstory on how broke joke I used to be. So then we used to split the bills, and he was gone all the time because he was in the oil field, and I was in charge of some of the bills again. And still, y'all, I was so broke. I still couldn't afford to pay for anything because teachers don't get paid very well, and I was still so far up to debt, up to my eyeballs from the past. So when I started Plexus, I wasn't looking for a business opportunity by any means. I was not looking to make extra income. I was just looking to, you know, gain some energy, get off my coffee addiction, sleep better, stop having stomach issues. But that first month of taking Plexus, people started noticing that I didn't have my coffee, you know, just glued to my hand all day long. They started noticing that I had a little more pep in my step at work. They started noticing that I wasn't so agitated, that I was more even keel, and they were asking me what I was doing. And y'all, if you think that you need to know everything about business in order to be successful in Plexus or be a salesman, you could not be more wrong. That could not be further from the truth for me. I literally just told people, I don't really know. I'm just taking this pink stuff and it seems to be helping. It's called Plexus, and that's about it. I said, I know I have a website. Let me find it. So I went and I creeped through my back office and I found my website, and I would send it to people. I wouldn't even recommend stuff to them. I didn't even know how to recommend product to them. I would just tell them what I was taking, and that's what they would get. Well, the first month I made $400, and that was enough to pay for the new car that I had to buy because my old one was crapping out. It was like the engine was about to fall out the bottom, basically. And so it was exactly $400. And I honestly couldn't afford it at the time. So my Plexus payment covered that, and that was the biggest blessing. So I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. But I thought it was some sort of joke. Like, there's no way I could get paid that much. Because I had actually done network marketing in the past, and the biggest check I ever made was $70. So I was like, well, they messed up, but I'm sure not going to bring it to their attention because I need the money. And then the second month, y'all, I still remember this, and I tell people this all the time because it's so true. I was going to the restroom, I was on my phone, and I got an email that said how much I got paid. And y'all, it was the exact amount of our mortgage. I called up Jill. It was midnight. I called up Jill and said, Jill, is this for real? I got, my mortgage at the time was like $897 or something like that. I said, I got $800, like almost $900. Is this for real? And all she said was, what took you so long? I told you I was making extra money. And so that's when I said that day, I'm like, thank you, Jesus, like sign from God. First month you paid for my car, second month you paid for my house. I need to do this. So from that day on, I went and I just ran with the business. There's no one that could have told me that Plexus was not something that was going to work out for me. I knew from that moment on, there was no doubt that this was going to be my income. There was no doubt that I was going to be able to quit my job with this. I just had such belief in the company. And if you don't have the belief in the company, guys, first of all, look at your uplines. They're fabulous. I love them to death. Look at them. They're both able to stay at home and work Plexus solely because it is such a great business opportunity. I'm able to now, I walked out of the classroom. This is my second year not teaching because of Plexus. There's so many people that are able to make this a business, guys. So if you don't have belief in network marketing, I would really suggest to look up Diamond Documentaries. If you don't know, if you're new to Plexus, Diamond is the top rank of the company, and once you reach Diamond, they do documentaries basically on your life. You're like a little like National Geographic show where they come and they film you and then they, you know, show you, and it's really cool to watch these people's stories. There's people who are homeless, there's people who have, you know, 97 kids, there's people who go around in a bus, there's people who were teachers, there's people who are stay-at-home moms that just wanted to be able to make a little extra income to feel like she was doing something for the family. There's a lot of really cool stories in there that are relatable. So anyways, I had my belief from that day on, and I said, I'm doing this and no one's stopping me. So this is my journey from then on. Guys, I have a huge family. There's 9 of us in the family, and they do not support me. I would venture to say they're maybe coming around a little bit, but they did not support me on my Plexus journey at all. They did not support me. They made fun of me more than anyone. Honestly, it was really sad. You feel like your family's going to support you, but they were the hardest on me. Anywhere that I go was always like, oh, is that Plexus in your cup? Oh, I know you have so much energy. You must be Plexus. Oh, the pink drink, the pink drink. Oh, you're going to try and sell me Plexus? That was my life for 2 years. But you know what? A lot of people that would have stopped, but I said, yeah, joke now, that's fine. Whenever I quit my job, you won't be joking so much then. Or, hey, when I'm driving my Lexus, which I am, you won't be joking then. Things like that. So you have to be resilient in this business. You really do, guys. There's haters everywhere. There are haters everywhere. I'm not that, you know, Emerald Ambassador where her family is all on the products. Everyone talks about them all the time. I'm not that person. There's 0 people in my family. 0 brothers and sisters. And I have a family of 9, y'all, that are taking the products. None of them. It's the biggest elephant in the room. Even when I pulled up with my Lexus, I know they all saw it. I know they saw my Lexus. No one said a word. No one said a word about it. So don't let that stop you, guys. If you know this is something that is meant for you, if it's something that you think, I can do this, first of all, you can do this. And second, guys, people's opinions don't pay your bills. They really don't. All those people that hate on me, I don't remember one of my siblings ever offering me money when I couldn't pay my bills to pay them. I just don't. They told me I need to pick up more hours, which is fine. That's what I needed to do. I'm not asking for handouts, but I don't remember them paying my bills. So whenever they started making fun of me, I didn't care, because you know what? Plexus was going to pay my bills and they weren't. So you have to be really, really resilient and have grit in this business. Like I said, I was teaching full-time when I started Plexus, and I taught for almost 2 years while I was doing Plexus. About 1.5 years I taught, and y'all, it was not something that I am going to lie to you and say was the easiest thing in the world to fit Plexus in my business. Oh, it was so easy to work 2 jobs. It wasn't. In the beginning, yes, it was pretty easy, because all I did was post on Facebook and shoot a couple messages here and there, and it was fine. But as I started to grow in the business, it was a little bit harder, because I would work from, you know, I live 30 minutes outside of town. Like I said, I live in the country. So I would work from, you know, I'd get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym, and then go to work. And if anyone knows Teacher Life, you do not work 8 hours a day. You work about 97 hours a day. So I worked, and I wouldn't come home until about 8 p.m. And that's when I would pick up my Plexus. So y'all, I was busy. I was so busy, but I knew it was going to be worth it. So I'm going to give a few tips for those of you people that are crazy, crazy busy and y'all have full-time jobs, because I know a lot of you on this team do. So my tips are, guys, whenever you're working at your 9-to-5 job, work at your 9-to-5 job. Focus on it. When you're home with your family, focus on that, and then have a separate time where you're only working Plexus. I know you feel like your phone's burning when there's a message sitting in your messenger and you have to answer it right then. But guys, if you're busy, you're not putting your best work into your business. Plexus is your business if you're working this as a business. If you're shooting for, to make extra income, if you're shooting for emerald, sapphire, diamond, this is your business, guys, and you have to treat it like one. If I am over here at a restaurant being a chef, and then I'm trying to work another side business on my phone, my food's probably not going to taste as good as if I were to focus on the food, and then when I got off, focused on my phone. It's the same thing with whatever job you're is, guys. You have to focus on Plexus when you're working Plexus, and what you'll find out if you do that is that you don't have to spend so much time on your computer. You don't have to spend so much time on your phone. Your husband isn't going to tell you, get off the phone and pay attention to me. He's not going to tell you, get off of Facebook and pay attention to me, because you're going to spend time where it matters and be present. I'm reading a book now. It's Present Over Perfect. And if you're having a struggle with being present where you are and finding the time management, if you're having a time management issue, I would really recommend that you read that book. It's called Present Over Perfect. I'm just starting it, so I can't tell you, everything about it, but I know that it's something that I struggle with, and I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with, so it's really going to help you, and the sooner that you can get a handle on it, the better, guys. So I'm going to kind of walk you through my day while I was teaching, and hopefully it helps someone out. So when I was teaching, I would get up, I'd post on Facebook, and usually while I was using the restroom. Most of my best work is done on the toilet. This is what's called fitting Plexus into the nooks and crannies. I would drive to work. While I was driving, I would answer voice messages. And then on my lunch break, I would shut the door and I would lock it, and I would turn off my classroom lights so people didn't know I was in there, and I would hide in a corner. I would literally hide in a corner, and I would not answer the door if someone knocked, and I would work Plexus on my lunch hour. After work, I would do all my tutoring and my after school duties and stuff like that. Then I would actually stay at my job because I knew it was quiet, and I knew if I went home I would get distracted. So I would work at my job Plexus. So I'd work at the school Plexus, and then I would come home, guys. I would eat dinner. I would not touch my phone. I would take a shower. I would not touch my phone. I would go ahead and take care of me, and then when my brain was clear and I was focused and decompressed, I would pull out my Plexus again and I would start working. Then before I went to bed, what I would do is make a plan for the next day, and I felt like that really, really helped me. Making a plan for the next day of who do I need to contact, who do I need to follow up with, who do I need to support on my team, what type of training do I need to do, and then do I have any customer service issues that I need to deal with the next day. And then that way, when I was exhausted after teaching 120 fourth graders who are 9-year-olds the next day, I had a plan instead of just sitting down and thinking, oh, I'm exhausted, I know I need to work, but what do I need to do? Plans are always best. So kind of fast forward, I continued to work, and then I was able to amazingly, and I'm very, very blessed to have walked out of the classroom. This is my second year, so I guess 2 years ago. And y'all, biggest blessing ever. Time freedom is where it's at. If you ever have hard times in this business, if you ever feel like, is it going to be worth it? Now that I have time freedom, I would never go back to working for someone again, ever. The thought of getting dressed in the morning disgusts me now. I'm like, oh my gosh, because we're so built up to, you have to live on this person's time watch. You have to clock in and out. You don't have to, guys. I still clock in and out for my personal self, because if not, my business would crash and burn. But I can go to work like this. I can go to work, a messy bun, this headband, workout clothes, and help people, guys. And that's the joy of this business. So that's a little bit kind of about my journey and how I got to Emerald. And I want to finish up with talking to y'all about the perks of being Emerald. So guys, Emerald, and also another thing I'm going to throw in there, I'm just kind of going off on this little rant here, so I'm hoping this is helping someone out there. But and y'all, I'm a total squirrel, so if I can do this, you can do it. So what I did, guys, I did have some hard times. Like I said, it's not all unicorns and butterflies. It's just not. It's not going to be something that is so easy and everyone gets to Emerald by not working and not having any struggle. It's not like that. I struggled several times. I struggled when I hit gold. I struggled when I hit ruby. And then I struggled a little bit again when I hit senior ruby. And you know what I had to do every single time when I got in a rut and I thought, God, this is just so hard. hard. What do I do? I was beating myself up. I had to work, y'all. I just said, you know what? The pity party is not helping me. The only thing that's going to help me is working, contacting people, getting back into momentum, getting back into activity. And that's what I did. So if you're stuck right now, maybe you need to have a reflection and say, when's the last time I reached out to someone? When's the last time I followed up with some people? When's the last time I invited someone to a happy hour? When's the last time, I know that y'all did happy hour because I creeped y'all's page and saw that in the calendar, but when's the last time I, hopped on a training call? When's the last time I showed up to an opportunity event in person? When's the last time I shared with someone? Maybe you need to have a little reflection moment, pull ourselves out of our pity party, pull ourselves out of little valleys that we have, and rise above, guys. That's all you have to do. You have to rise above. If you're struggling in your business right now, it's not the business. I'm telling you, it's not the comp plan. Anyone can be successful in this comp plan. Anyone. So it's usually something from within that you have to overcome with yourself. You need to do personal development. That's what I did. Anytime I hit a wall, I personal developed my booty out of it. I learned from those that were doing better than me. I was coachable. I didn't think I was a know-it-all. If people told me, I think what you're doing is great, but I think you should do this and you'd be more successful, that's what I did. And guys, whenever I did have those hard times, you know what I did? I am a total red. If you don't know the color personalities, I'm like total business driven. So what I did is the money motivated me to Emerald, y'all, because remember, I was like a broke joke. I got my card declined like on the reg at McDonald's for the dollar menu because I couldn't afford it before Plexus. Like, that was my life. And so money drove me. It was my goal. So what I would do when I had hard times is I would look at the Emerald pay and I would say, if I could just get to Emerald, I'm getting to Emerald. When I get to Emerald, and I would dream, y'all, I would say, when I get to Emerald, it's going to feel so good to pay for stuff in cash. It's going to feel so good to be pay more than the minimum on our credit cards and be able to get ourselves out of debt. It's going to be so good to not have one more money fight discussion. It's going to feel so good to never have to look at my bank account and have a negative again. That's what drove me, y'all. And you know what? The day I hit Emerald, I don't cry. I was like crying tears of happiness of, this is so surreal, and it's still so surreal to this day, y'all. We just got back from Hawaii. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, then I'm going to hop off. Like I said, obviously growing up with no money, I was not the person who, whenever they had the little cheer spirit shirts at school, I wasn't able to get them because we didn't have it in our budget. We never went out to eat, things like that, which again, no pity party on me. I don't care. Our house was so full of love. I had an amazing childhood. But when I hit Emerald, y'all, Plexus, already, even not as an Emerald, just as an ambassador, they spoil us like crazy. When I went to Hawaii, I about like crap my pants with how nice it was. I'm not even kidding you. We went into the Grand Wailea and we walked in and I was like, oh my God, little old Rachel Jones, that was my maiden name, Rachel Jones, over here in Hawaii, not even just Hawaii, in Maui, on one of the nicest resorts they have, and people are talking to me like I'm someone. Like, this is insane. We had gifts in our room. Insane, y'all. Talk about spoiling. If you like to be spoiled by your husband and your husband doesn't spoil you and you're like, oh, I wish my husband would do that, let Plexus be your husband. They spoil you like crazy. Everywhere we went, first class, there was hors d'oeuvres and, drinks flowing, and I like a good time. They had open bar the whole time. There was people at the pool just hanging out. Everything was so first class. The parties were incredible. They were like nicer than any wedding reception that I've ever been to in my life. They had like ice sculptures on the tables, y'all. It is nice. It is so nice. They give us gifts that are like $100 sandals for free, y'all. They just let us go pick them out. They gave us portable speakers. They give us all this super fun stuff. Plexus spoils you rotten. I went to my first leaders retreat in Washington, D.C., and that's the first time I really got a taste of how Plexus treats you. Guys, if you want to be appreciated, do some things for Plexus. They appreciate you like no other. As a teacher, y'all, I never even got a turkey for Thanksgiving. I never even got a note that said thank you. I never got anything. I busted my butt. I felt like I poured everything. I gave up family time. I gave up time with my husband. My husband and I were starting to have, we were dating then, like issues with our relationship, because I just didn't want anything to do with him after teaching, because I was so drained emotionally after work that I didn't want anything to do with him. That is not the kind of job that I want to have, y'all. The kind of job that I want to have is the kind where you get to go and you get spoiled and you get sent on so many trips and you get gifts and you get drinks galore and you get dancing and bands and just so much fun, and the relationships are amazing. So if you are someone who's listening to this and you're like, all right, lady, shut up, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you are stuck in a box right now and you are looking for a way out, Plexus is the way. Reach out to someone, look up some videos on your own, be resourceful, look up stuff that's going to help you to make this business happen, guys, because the only difference between me and you is that I've talked to a few more people than you. The only difference between me and you is that the struggle that you're in right now, I was able to push myself out of it by growing. You can do the same thing. It's just a choice of, is it worth it to me? Am I ready to change my life, or am I okay being stagnant where I am? And if you are, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to tell you to be someone you don't want to be, but if you aren't, then it's time to do something. I'm going to end with this. This is something that someone told me, and it has really stuck with me for a really, really long time. It's something that when I have a hard time, or when I'm struggling in my business, or when I feel like no one wants Plexus, or like my team is not listening to me, or whatever it is, this one thing has stuck in my brain. And someone told me, if you continue to do what you do now, what will your life look like in the next 5 years? What will your life look like in the next 10 years? Are you happy with it? And my answer was no before Plexus, because guess what? I was only getting more tired. I was only getting more broke. I was only getting more depressed, more secluded, more torn away from the life that I wanted and the life that I knew that I deserved. So think about that whenever you're in those hard times. Are you okay with where you are now, or do you want to go places? Because Plexus will bring you places. So thank y'all for letting me chat your ear off. Thank you for letting me spend this time with you. And I hope this really spoke to someone, because I know it just takes the right person sometimes and the right words to really make you realize, wow, that could be me. So hope y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later.